Let me talk to you about the Navy Fed nRewards secure credit card. How do you get approved and build credit super fast with this credit card and be upgraded after 3 to 6 months? Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation, I guarantee you. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Story Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous. If you are to ask me, if you are doing as great and blessed as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka. Now let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to talk to you about the Navy Fed nRewards secure credit card. This is a great card that can help you build or rebuild credit. And how do you get approved and build credit super fast? That's the big question here. And you can be upgraded after 3 to 6 months. Let me give you an overview. So when you think about this card, this is a secure credit card, okay? It has no annual fee and it has a cashback rewards program that pays you back on every dollar you spend. This is really good. And the good thing is, Navy Fed is open to everyone, even those with no military affiliation. Just contact customer service and they'll take care of you. And one thing I also want to say is that the rewards program is solid, at least compared to other secure credit cards, okay? And this is really good. Now, in terms of one thing I want to say here is that Navy Fed will help you, especially if you have setbacks in your credit building process, such as delinquencies, foreclosures, and personal bankruptcies. If you use your card responsibly for at least 3 to 6 months after opening your account, you may be considered for an upgrade to a non-secured Navy Fed credit card, okay? So as long as you can find at least $200 to cover the initial deposit, this card is definitely worth a closer look. The question is, do you pre-qualify? Well, if you are already a member, you can find out if you pre-qualify for a credit card before you submit your application. But in this case, you don't need to pre-qualify or qualify because this is a secure credit card, okay? And your money is going to be the limit that they're going to give you. The purchase APR, the purchase and balance transfer APR, 18%. You can see on the screen the terms and conditions, just in case you want to learn more about that. And in terms of fees, there are no annual fees, no balance transfer fees, no foreign transaction fees, and no cash advance fees. Okay, so this is really good. Overall, I would say 90% of Navy Fed credit cards in general don't have a balance transfer fees. And so this is really good. And the rewards 1x points per dollar spent. Okay. And if you want to learn more about the nRewards secure program, you can go to Navy Fed's website and learn more about that. Let's talk about eligibility, folks. So if you want to be eligible for this secure credit card, you need to be at least 18 or 21 years old, depending on the states you are applying from. You need to have verifiable income. So when we talk about verifiable income, we're speaking about W-2s, 1099s, or your pay stubs. And if you are, let's say you are paid in cash, then you might need to have a letter from your employer that shows that you are indeed employed at that company. And you need to make at least $1,000 per month. That's gross income, pre-tax income. So that's $12,000 per year. And they might require your most recent tax return if available. Okay, if available. It's not a requirement, but if you have it, that will be nice. Okay, that will be, and even if you are claimed as a dependent on somebody else's tax return, it will be also nice to supply that tax return during the application process. Okay, especially if you want to apply at a branch, that'll be really this could be helpful. And proof of employment if applicable. So not only the income must be verifiable, you may also be required to provide proof of employment. And you can have a letter of employment. Let's say if you're an intern, for example, you are 18 or 20 or 19 years old and you are doing an internship right now, you can ask HR at the company that you are interning at. Just ask them to provide a letter of employment and just tell them this is for a bank or a credit union. In this case, this will be for Navy Fed, all right? And also, you need to be a member of the credit union. This will help you. But you need to have a current checking or a savings account with NFCU. Very important. So eligible checking accounts, you have free active duty checking, free easy checking, free campus checking, free everyday checking, or flagship checking. So you need to have at least one checking account and one savings account, because the money, the deposit that you're going to use for your initial credit limits will have to come from a deposit account, right? And this can be either a savings account or a checking account. One thing I want to say here is that credit union is an all-in financial institution. So they offer all kinds of financial products, all kinds of accounts. So besides checking accounts and savings accounts, if you are interested, you might also want to think about opening a CD, certificate of deposits, or an investment account, a brokerage account. Okay, so they actually help you sort of expand your financial horizon. Let me talk to you about the features. Folks, we are still having a conversation about how to use the NavyFed nRewards secure credit card to boost credit and to start little. You can use the card to rebuild credit, and then after 3 to 6 months of good financial use, good responsible use of the card, they could actually upgrade you to an unsecured credit card. So what are the features of this card? So first, the initial deposit requirement and refund. So NavyFed Credit Union nRewards secure card requires a minimum security deposit of $200. So your deposit amount is always equal to your credit limits provided by NavyFed. Okay, the thing is that NavyFed has to make sure that your creditworthiness and income are sufficient to handle the limit for which you have applied. Okay, and your deposit is held in an FDIC insured account for as long as your account remains open. So once 3 to 6 billion cycles have passed, NavyFed will automatically review your account, and if it deems that you have used your credit card responsibly and paid your bills in a timely manner, they will upgrade you. Okay, so they will actually upgrade you to the non-secured NavyFed credit card, and this is they will upgrade you to the Cash Rewards credit card. So once the upgrade is completed, your security deposit is released. Okay, this is something, and it's very straightforward. And you can apply for a higher credit limit at any time, though you are not guaranteed approval. So if you qualify for an increase, you must make another deposit equal to the difference between your old and new credit limits. Okay, in terms of earning rewards, the card earns 1 point per dollar spent on all purchases with no limits or restrictions on how much you can earn. So you can earn additional points on purchases at the Navy Federal Credit Union member mall, where select purchases earn up to 10 points per dollar spent. To redeem the rewards, you can redeem the rewards online for cash, restaurant and retail gift cards, and general merchandise, usually at a value of $0.01 per point or less. And larger redemption generally offer more favorable redemption values. For example, you need 3,500 points for a $25 Applebee's gift card and 7,500 points for a 75 Home Depot gift cards. Okay, and you can actually start redeeming points once you accumulate 1,000 points. And one thing you need to understand is that if you have not redeemed your points within 4 years of the date they are earned, they will expire and lose all value. And NavyFed will report all your transactional data to the 3 credit bureaus, so that will help you actually boost credit really fast. So they'll report every month. They'll report everything to TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Okay, and we love the fact that there are no fees, no transaction fees, no balance transfer fee, no annual fee. This is really good. So the credit required is 300. That's the minimum, because this card is specifically for folks who are trying to build or rebuild credit. Speaking of building or rebuilding credit, let me just walk you through a little bit about the pros of this credit card. And this is important because you do have the ability to use the card responsibly and go from, say, a 400 FICO score to a 500 FICO score, or from a 500 FICO score to a 600 FICO score in a matter of 3 to 6 to 9 months. Okay, so what are the pros here? There's no annual fee. This is really good because that's a big advantage over many competing secured cards whose annual fees can range as high as $40. It's also great news for those seeking to maximize the value of their earned rewards. So the absence of annual fees is really great. We love that. And virtually no other card fees. So aside from the non-existent annual fee, the card has an impressively light schedule on other card fees. So something that you need to think about. Most other secured credit cards have a 3% foreign transaction fee plus balance transfer and cash advance fees ranging from 3% to 5% of the transaction amount, something NavyFed doesn't have. So this is really good. So every dollar spent earns rewards. And you don't need to track the categories or you don't need to track the transactions. Every dollar spent earn rewards. Very simple. 1%, simple as that. Okay. And one thing you need to understand is that this rewards, I would say this rewards process pales in comparison to those offered by leading cashback cards such as Citi Double Cash or Chase Freedom Unlimited. However, it is nice that cardholders with less than stellar credit can earn real rewards on every dollar spent with this card. Okay, and the fact that you can be upgraded within 3 to 6 months is fantastic. Okay, normally it's 6 months, but if you are really good in terms of using your card, they can review your card after 4 months, after 5 months. But usually it's 6 months. So once you have had this card for, let's say, 6 months, you are considered for an upgrade to a non-secured credit card. And some competing secured cards are essentially dead ends. In other words, you can keep them active as long as you want, but you cannot graduate to a non-secured account. Something you don't have to worry about when you have the unsecured credit card with NavyFed. And you also have a relatively low minimum security deposit. So this card requires a $200 minimum security deposit. So that's lower than many competing cards, though not the lowest in the secure card category, because the honor goes to the Capital One secured MasterCard, whose minimum security deposit is just $49. And you also have a cell phone protection with NavyFed and secured credit card. I'll be right back, but after this, don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We're also having a conversation about Navy Federal nRewards secure credit card and how to use the card responsibly so that you can be upgraded and you can also boost your credit. Okay, and what are the disadvantages of this card? And it's important to understand because maybe you are in a space right now where the disadvantages are more important than the benefits. Well, first thing you need to understand is that reward points expire. So I've told you before, those rewards points do not last forever. If left unused, they expire 4 years after they are earned. So while 4 years is a long time, this remains an inconvenience for infrequent card users, okay? Most other rewards credit cards don't allow their points to expire, no matter how infrequently they are used. So something you need to be aware of. And points can be worth less than 1 cent a piece at redemption. So this card's points are particularly valuable come redemption time. So when redeemed for gift cards and merchandise, they are often worth less than 1 cent per point, a subpar value relative to some competitor cards when you really think about it. And this is not really a disadvantage, but it's worth mentioning that you must be a member or a customer to qualify for this card, okay? In other words, you need to apply for membership. This is a credit union, but as I said earlier, you don't need to have military affiliation. Even though NavyFed is a military affiliated credit union, you don't need to be in the service. You don't need to be affiliated with military, either professionally, biologically, or geographically, to qualify for membership. Okay, just give them a call and they'll hook you up, and they do require a minimum deposit. Now you might be telling me that $200 is kind of low for a secured credit card, but listen, this may be still a barrier for some, especially since the entire sum is required upfront. So if a smaller or more flexible opening deposit is more appealing than earning rewards, this card can give you an initial credit line of $200 for a deposit of $49, $99, or $200 for those who qualify. So this is not for the NavyFed secure card. This is for the Capital One secured MasterCard, okay? And this is something you need to think about. And the APR, in our view, is kind of high also. Because think about it, this is your own money. This is your money. But NavyFed is charging you 18% APR. 18%. want to talk to you now about the card usage and how you can actually boost your chances of being approved quickly for the upgrade. This is really important. So make sure that you use the card for all electronic transactions. What I'm trying to say here is that don't just get the card and be shy on using it. No, everything where you need to use a credit card, you want to use your NavyFed nRewards secure card, because card usage is going to play an important role come upgrade time. When NavyFed start looking at your card after 6 months and they're thinking about how much limits they should give you, they were looking at your card usage. So use the card all the time for all electronic transactions. You go to a store, you go to the shopping mall, you're shopping online, use the card. And make sure that you have a one-time payments all the time. Not one-time payment, on-time payments. You want to pay the cards, the balance due on time all the time. And try to keep your CUR at or below 30%. We're talking here about credit utilization ratio, okay? In other words, let's say you have $1,000 on this card. In other words, you deposited $1,000 and they gave you a limit of $1,000. Make sure that you keep your, whatever balance you want to keep on the card, maximum $300. The best is to pay off the full balance. Pay the full balance every month, but stuff happens. People have to. You never know. Then you want to make sure that you have a CUR of $300 in this case, so 30%, okay? And you want to keep your DTI at or below 35%. DTI stands for debt to income ratio. So NavyFed is going to look at your other debts. They're going to look at how much you allocate every month to service your debt. If you have other liabilities, of course. So in case you do, make sure that you keep the maximum maximum DTI ratio at 35%. And while you are basically using the card for the next 3 to 6 months, you want to constantly work on your credit score. Okay, think about being financially responsible. Think about checking your credit score to make sure that everything is accurate. This is important. You want to go to a website called annualcreditreport.com, where you can get a free copy of your credit report at TransUnion, Equifax, or Experian. That way you have a clear idea of what's going on your credit report, okay? And it's also important to sign up for, let's say, Credit Karma, NerdWallet, or Wallet Hub. Those platforms also offer free credit. You have access to your credit reports for free. Okay, so the bottom line is that you want to be financially responsible, not only in terms of managing your money, but also using this card and repaying the balances that are due. So what happened after 6 months? Magic happens. Magic happens. So what you want to do is that after 6 months, and again, in some cases, this could be 4 months or 5 months or 3 months, but in general, let's just talk about 6 months. After 6 months, you want to wait for an automatic upgrade, or you want to graduate to a non-secured credit card. And these things should happen naturally. They should happen automatically, because NavyFed has algorithms in place, and their credit team also, they do this review automatically. Okay, all accounts that are unsecured, all accounts that are secured, they have all cardholders with secure credit cards are reviewed automatically after six months. So if you don't receive your automatic upgrade or graduation after 6 months, you want to contact customer service. Okay, you want to contact them, you want to have a conversation, you want to find out the cause of the delay. Maybe you didn't use your card responsibly. Maybe you didn't use your card that much. Maybe something else happened, but it's always better to have a conversation. If you are around a NavyFed branch, it's just a lot better to walk into the branch and have a conversation with a customer service rep. But be prepared to back up your request. Okay, if you're asking for a promotion, if you're asking for a promotion to an unsecured credit card, make sure that you are able to substantiate your request. In other words, you can show them, for example, that you have been receiving more income lately. Let's say you change your jobs, you have a new job, or you have been promoted at your current job, so you are making more money. This could be a reason to bump you up in terms of credit limits, but also in terms of the status of the credit you're using. And you can also talk about a better credit score. So a better credit score could be a reason to upgrade you, for example. And if you can also mention that you have had a great payment history in the last 6 months. So everything you can say to actually everything you can say to substantiate your request, to motivate your desire to get an upgrade is great. You can also talk about your spending history and the credit limits that you would like. Okay, let's say your secure credit card had a limit of $1,000, and after 6 months you want to have a credit limit of $3,000 or $4,000. You need to again explain why Navy Fed should give you a credit limit of $4,000 on an unsecured credit card. If you're able to actually explain that, you will get the card. Not a problem. Thank you so much, folks, for your attention to this conversation. I was explaining to you how the Navy Fed nRewards Secure Credit Card can help you build credit super fast and get an upgrade after 3 to 6 months. So I gave you an overview. We spoke about eligibility, the features of this card, the pros and cons. So the pros, the cons, the card usage, and what to do after 6 months. Thank you so much for your attention. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.